disappeared on June 29, 2001. When a person disappears without a trace, often the most critical information is hidden in their actions and words from the days before they vanished. Patty Atkins' last known whereabouts may hold the clues to what happened to her. Single mom Patty Atkins vanishes in the middle of the night, and her family fears the worst.
I trusted Patty that she knew this man. You don't think the worst is going to happen. You don't think that's the last time that you're going to speak to your little sister.
Investigators piece together a disturbing picture of her life.
There's something wrong here. It just makes the hair stand up on the back of your neck.
She had said there can't be any paper trail of the money.
But will detectives get the break they need to unravel the mystery?
We checked airlines, we checked passports. We found no evidence of her just taking off.
Patty's loved ones wait for some sign of her, hoping it's not too late.
I don't think she would run away. Nothing would keep her from her daughter. There's no one who could convince me of that.
June 29th, 2001. It's the Friday before July 4th in Marysville, Ohio, about 35 miles north of Columbus. 29-year-old Patty Atkins is looking forward to the week-long vacation known as Shutdown at the Honda factory where she works as an assembly line team leader.
They always shut down the week of 4th of July, and she was supposed to be going away on a trip with a coworker.
Her sisters remember Patty describing plans to go to Canada with an employee Patty says she has been involved with for a couple of years.
She told me, he really wants to take me up there. It's really pretty, and, you know, it'll just be our chance to be away from everything.
She was excited about her trip with her boyfriend. She was head over heels in love with this man.
Patty has worked as a Honda associate, as employees are called, since she was 19. One of the few women on the assembly line, she's hoping to get a promotion in the next few months.
Patty loved working at Honda. She had started at the bottom and worked her way up. Patty was good with people. She was excited about a test that she was taking to advance. She was ready for the next level of leadership.
When Patty isn't working, she dotes on her 7-year-old daughter, McKaylee.
For her birthday party, she had a slumber party, and Patty would dance with them and just have fun with her, snuggle with her. I can't think of anything she wouldn't have done for her. She adored her. She adored her, loved her so much. And McKaylee adored her mom just as much as her mom adored her.
Patty loved being a mother, and I loved seeing her smile when she looked at McKaylee.
Her sister Marcia recalls Patty planning the future she would build for McKaylee with the new man in her life.
She had talked to me about where they would live and that they talked about wanting more kids.
Patty, the youngest of 5 siblings, wasn't known to fall for guys easily.
Patty was independent. She was not one of those people who was never okay without a boyfriend. She wasn't willing to give up time with her daughter. It was uncharacteristic of her to be that trusting of a man.
That Friday, June 29th, in preparation for her trip, Patty brings McKaylee to stay with her ex-husband.
She was supposed to leave Friday night right after work. I was to get my niece Wednesday, and then Patty would be coming to my house to pick up McKaylee on Sunday, July 8th, around noon.
Before heading to her 3:30 to midnight shift at Honda, Patty brings her pets to the vet to be boarded for the week. Since she and Marcia usually speak every day, Patty calls her sister one last time before her trip.
She was supposed to be going to a remote part of Canada, not in phone service area, so she wouldn't be able to call. She left me a message and said, I'll try to stop on the road, but if I don't talk to you, I'll just see you on Sunday. Kiss, kiss, I love my sis. That's just a thing my sister and I always said to each other. Kiss, kiss, I love my sis. That's how we said goodbye to each other.
It's the last shift before the week-long vacation. Patty has told her sister that she plans to drive straight from work to a cabin in Canada with her boyfriend in his pickup truck. When the shift ends, hundreds of Honda associates dash out of work, eager to begin their vacations. At 19 seconds past midnight, Patty Atkins clocks out of her shift and disappears. On Sunday, July 8th at noon, while McKaylee is playing, Marcia expects Patty to pick her up after the trip to Canada. But Patty doesn't arrive.
Hi. Called her house and left a message on the answer machine. That was around 12:30. When she didn't pick up, I guess I was just thinking they were running late.
Marcia is puzzled. It's not like Patty to be late without calling.
Called again at 1, 1:30. Half-hour increments that turned into 15-minute increments that turned into 5-minute increments. I was calling my sister, just repeat dialing. More time passed. I kept calling her house. She still didn't answer.
Marcia begins to worry. She calls the man Patty had said she was going away with. A woman answers the phone. It's not Patty. Coming up, did Patty ever make it to Canada?
So what did you do to her? I can't believe.
Just after midnight on Friday, June 29th, 2001, Patty Atkins clocks out at the Honda factory in Marysville, Ohio, and vanishes. Patty had arranged to pick up her 7-year-old daughter, McKaylee, from her sister Marcia's house on Sunday, July 8th. When Patty doesn't arrive, Marcia calls her house. After a couple of hours, Marcia finally calls the man Patty said she was going away with. When a woman picks up the phone, Marcia isn't surprised. She knows it's the man's wife.
Patty had told me about someone who she was talking to at work, how much she liked, talking to him. He was so funny and things like that. And then spilled the beans that he was married, that he had a wife and kids. And I was like, oh, no, you don't want that.
Marcia remembers Patty describing why she felt so strongly about continuing a relationship with this married man.
Their relationship was more to her like this soulmate thing, being able to talk to him and tell him anything. All she ever talked about is they would just have these long talks and could make her laugh. I think she thought that they would actually be married. To me, she had plans of a future with him.
From the information that he had given her, she didn't think she was breaking up a good thing. She thinks she just happened to come in on something that was bad. It was going to break up anyways. I don't think if they had a good marriage, Patty would have pursued it.
Patty's sisters made it clear they didn't approve of her seeing a married man.
I told her I thought she was being naive. People get played all the time. They always say they're going to leave their wives, and they don't, and you're just the mistress. But she felt like she had this incredible connection with him.
Marcia and Janine began to realize that talking their strong-willed little sister out of this romance was a losing battle.
I recall myself saying, well, if he's having an affair with you, what makes you think he's not going to do the same thing to you? And, oh, he loves me and he wouldn't do that to me. She'd already made up her mind, and I just let it go, decided not to be judgmental.
She just basically brushed me off as you just don't know him. That she knew better, that I should trust her judgment.
Patty's vision of a future with her soulmate led her to give him more than just her heart, as her friends and family would soon learn. In July of 2000, 1 year before Patty disappears, she visited her sister Janine in Miami, Florida. Patty had just recently told Janine she was involved with this married coworker when she revealed more surprising news on their way to get him a gift at the Hard Rock Cafe.
She wanted to get him a t-shirt from the Hard Rock. And then she started talking more about their future plans together, that he owned a business with his brother-in-law, and he was going to sell his share, and it wouldn't be in his name any longer. And that's when he was going to ask his wife for a divorce, and that way she would have no rights to his business.
According to Janine, it was then that Patty shared how she was helping make a future with this man a reality.
Patty told me that she had given him a lot of money. She had already given him maybe $20,000 so that he could pay off the business sooner, and that way they could be together sooner.
Janine tried cautioning Patty, who had been building a nest egg for about 10 years.
I questioned her about that, and she's like, oh yeah, but he'll give me the money back after the divorce. Patty was always pretty good with her money, and it sounded like she had a plan, so I didn't push any further.
Patty's family knew well that she could be as generous as she was strong-willed.
It was shocking the amount of money she was helping him out with, but it was totally characteristic of Patty to help somebody out. To Patty, relationships were more important than any materialistic things. When She decided she loved him. You know, I think she's willing to do anything for him.
When Marsha learned about the loan, she was less diplomatic about her concern.
I mean, you're loaning him money. How much money? Are you crazy? You've worked all this time to save all this money, you know, and worked so hard for it.
For every red flag Marsha tried raising, she only heard Patty respond with faith in her happily ever after.
Said to her, how's he going to pay all of that back? And she just said he has to start gradually paying it back, kind of how she had lent it to him, you know, not in one big lump sum. She had said he had to start paying that money back in July.
Hours after Patty is supposed to walk through Marsha's front door, and more than a week after she clocked out of her Honda shift, Marsha is asking the wife of her sister's coworker if he's home.
I just said that I was inquiring about his business as something that I needed as a potential customer. She said he'd be back later in the afternoon. I thought that that was a good thing, because that just meant they weren't back yet.
Marsha calls around to Patty's friends, but no one has heard from her. By 5 o'clock, Marsha is desperate to find Patty. She tries calling the man again. This time, he picks up. But Marsha is stunned by what she says she hears.
I said, where's my sister? What do you mean? I said, Patty, my sister, you know, you guys went away. And he got quiet and got a little bit, I don't know how to describe, just different. Like, Patty. Oh, you mean from Honda? And like, you know, just kind of vague. I said, yes. And he goes, well, you know, I don't know what you're talking about. Stuttering, stammering. I said, what did you do to her? Because she left with you. I know she was leaving with you. I can't believe you're saying you don't know her. And then I panicked.
After hearing the man deny any relationship with Patty, Marsha is haunted by concerns she'd had all along about the trip to Canada.
I recall saying that I just really didn't like not being able to hear from her for a whole week. It just didn't sit well with me. Something didn't seem right about it.
Marsha calls her sister Janine, who is visiting their mom in Indiana.
She was really worried. I could hear the concern in her voice. She's like, Jeannie, Patty hasn't called. It was very unlike Patty. Patty always called to speak to McKaylee the moment she got back.
Since their mother is within earshot, Janine has to break the news about Patty.
I told my mom that Patty hadn't been seen, that we think she was missing. I told Mom what I knew, that she was supposed to go away with her boyfriend to Canada, and she just... she knew immediately it wasn't right. To see your mother learn that news firsthand, the look on her face.
I was bawling and I was sobbing and couldn't even talk. My husband was trying to find out what was wrong with me because I was outside because I didn't want to upset my niece.
At about 7 p.m. on the day Patty was to have picked up McKaylee, her sister Marsha calls the Marysville Police Department to report her sister missing. At 3 o'clock in the morning, sleepless with worry, Marsha calls the man again.
I basically said to the wife that I was Patty's sister. She was supposed to go away with your husband. She's been loaning him money over the past 2 years. She maybe spoke to me for about 15 minutes and then gave the phone to him. He was like, what makes you think that I knew your sister so well? And I just gave him details, you know, things she had said about the trip, gifts she had bought him. I knew that he had a motorcycle, you know, I knew all about his business, knew about his wife, knew about his kids, all these things. He would just ask questions, probing questions. In hindsight, I think they wanted to see how much I knew.
In the moment, Marsha can't fully take in what's happening.
3 o'clock in the morning. I'd cried for probably 10 hours straight. So I wasn't really thinking, why is he asking me this? Later the next day, I was thinking about it. I had a conversation for 45 minutes with this guy and his wife. Why did they stay on the phone with me? Because I sure wouldn't.
After hearing the man's denial of any relationship with Patty, Marcia clings to the hope that police will find some evidence linking him to her sister's disappearance.
I don't think she would run away. Nothing would keep her from her daughter. There's no one who could convince me of that.
Coming up, investigators close in on the crucial moment Patty may have disappeared.
They thought that that was different because Patty was always the last one to leave.
Patty Atkins never arrives to pick up her young daughter, McKaylee. Patty is supposed to be returning from a week in Canada with a married coworker. After Patty's sister Marcia files a missing persons report with the Marysville Police, Detective Jeff Stiers and Lieutenant Jamie Patton from the Union County Sheriff's Office begin working Patty's case. When searching her house for clues, investigators find nothing that indicates what may have happened to Patty.
Nothing was torn up to suggest any sort of foul play. The doors were locked. Car was in the garage. It appeared that in her closets and her drawers, all her clothes was there. It told me that whether she walked away or it was foul play, I don't think it happened here.
At this point, we had a missing persons report, and we didn't know what we had as far as if a crime had been committed. We took some financial records and Patty's computer for processing.
Detective Stiers interviews Patty's colleagues at Honda, including the team members who worked with Patty the night she disappeared.
That day, she had talked to everybody on her line and made it very clear that she wanted the area cleaned up and everything done so she could leave at midnight. In talking with the associates there, they thought that that was different because Patty was always the last one to leave. I met nobody that was able to tell me that they'd ever seen Patty leave first. So this was different. At midnight, everything was cleaned up. She left the line and was one of the first ones to punch the time clock. She went down the tunnel, she clocked out, got to the top of the stairs. That was the last time she was seen.
When Stiers questions associates, he learns Patty was sometimes seen talking with the married coworker.
They didn't think much about it because in her role as a team leader, it wasn't uncommon for Patty to walk around and talk to people. There was no flirtation around this coworker reported when talking with the associates.
But detectives get a different picture from a friend of Patty's at Honda. Since the friend doesn't want her name revealed, we'll call her Jane. Jane says Patty confided in her about her relationship with the married coworker.
Patty didn't talk about her personal life a whole lot, except for her close friends. Her friend said that Patty had told her she was being very quiet about this because the guy was married. Not many people knew the details.
Investigators learn that Patty only mentioned getting together with this man a handful of times outside of work.
It appears to be an emotional relationship between the two of them, because if it was physical, there wasn't a lot of it going on. They met, I think, 2 or 3 times. If they met more, she didn't tell anybody about it. The relationship between the two of them is kind of a mystery.
Patty's friend Jane recalls how happy Patty seemed whenever she'd visit the married man on the line, especially as the trip drew closer. It was the same excitement Marcia had seen in her sister. For Marcia, it was clear this trip held greater meaning for Patty than just a relaxing vacation.
In Patty's eyes, it was sort of the beginning of them getting to actually be together. Up to that time, they really didn't spend lots of time together other than seeing each other at work and a handful of times maybe outside of work.
She thought if he was willing to spend a week with her, up in Canada that he must really mean it. He's going to follow through with this. If he's willing to take me and not her and the kids, then he's telling her the truth. He was going to leave his wife. She believes him. So she was excited.
As investigators interview Patty's closest friends and family, they learn that Patty's sisters, her best friend, and Jane were the only people whom Patty told about the trip to Canada. These few confidants tell detectives that the trip Patty described involved some surprising arrangements. Patty told her sister Marcia that she wasn't supposed to pack any clothes.
Supposedly they were going to buy all their stuff there, and I was like, well, if it's so remote, where are you going to buy anything? You know, what about food? Where are you going to sleep? She couldn't even give me a location. Just it was a very remote place in Canada.
Jane recalls Patty's excitement about the trip as they drove to work that Friday.
Patty rode to work with her, leaving her vehicle at home, which she typically did not do. She typically drove herself to work. And the plan was that she would leave after work with this male friend.
Jane says that the alleged boyfriend would use a service truck from his business for the trip. Then, investigators get an important lead.
When shift was over, she was going to clock out just a couple minutes earlier than usual so she could sneak into his truck in the back bed of the truck.
The key to the plan involved something called a tonneau cover, a sturdy cloth that fits over the bed of a pickup truck. Jane tells authorities the same story as Janine, describing how Patty was to hide in the bed of the truck while her married coworker drove a carpool buddy home after work.
Patty was to get underneath that tonneau cover so that her coworker's friend did not know that she was in the back of the truck.
Once he dropped off his friend, she was to join him in the front end of the pickup truck, and they were going to go off to Canada.
Jane believes that Patty considered hiding in the truck to be part of the excitement of their secret trip, trusting they'd be spending their lives together. Patty's sister Janine remembers her reaction to the plan.
That struck me as odd, but she seemed happy and I didn't want to squash it. I trusted Patty that she knew this man. You don't think the worst is going to happen. You don't think that's the last time that you're going to speak to your little sister.
While the sheriff's team look into all possible leads, they now believe it's unlikely that Patty vanished on her own.
We checked airlines, we checked passports, and we found no evidence of her just taking off. Out of all the people that we spoke to, no one mentioned her, wanting to leave.
With Patty's loved ones telling detectives about her travel plans with the married man, as well as the loans and gifts she described giving him, investigators head out to interrogate him and search his property.
All friends of Patty's gave us the same information, not knowing that they had given us the same information. And so that's what made them credible.
Adding all those things up, the money, the relationship, it just makes the hair stand up on the back of your neck that there's something wrong here. A mother just doesn't leave her daughter and run off. Is it possible? Has there been cases of mothers running off and leaving their daughters? Sure, but with all the other factors that we're looking at, good job, promotion, she loved her daughter, it just didn't add up.
Coming up, police may be closing in on finding Patty.
The dogs kind of went nuts over the concrete. That made me hopeful, sick, but hopeful.
2 weeks after Patty Atkins is last seen, investigators head out to search the property of the married man Patty said she'd been seeing. Detective Jeff Stiers knows that investigators need to verify key information and evidence identified by Patty's friends and family.
We knew about the trip to Canada, all the money, the items that she had purchased for this coworker, such as a Hard Rock Cafe t-shirt, What we were looking for when we went there was anything that would link the co-worker to Patty.
When authorities arrive at the man's home, he consents to a search of his property, as well as the business he co-owns in another town. While Lieutenant Patton and other officers head to the business with the man, Detective Stiers stays at the house to search the property and interview his wife.
She did not seem to have any knowledge of Patty Atkins. She denied him having an affair with Patty, said that it wasn't possible, you know. He goes to work, he comes home after work every night.
The wife tells police her husband came home the night Patty disappeared at about 2:30 a.m. She says he was home that week, doing projects around their property with a friend. As police begin searching, the man's wife leads them to a potential clue. It looks like the gift Patty got for the man in Miami.
We found the Hard Rock Cafe t-shirt. I don't believe the wife knew where that t-shirt came from.
Investigators' suspicions are heightened. They expand the search.
We brought in a canine, a cadaver dog, and we used that dog to search the property for Patty's body.
Suddenly, the dog begins indicating near some freshly poured concrete by the house garage.
Once that dog alerts, there's a possibility that a body had been laid here or is buried here.
According to the man's wife, it was leftover concrete from a construction project during shutdown week. Police send for a backhoe to begin digging up the spot.
That made me hopeful, sick but hopeful. As much as it sickened me to think of her under there, I wanted her to be found because then it would move the process forward a step. Because you just feel like you're in this constant standstill.
Meanwhile, investigators at the man's business have been questioning him about Patty.
Outside of knowing her at work, he denied any relationship whatsoever with her. He denied having any plans whatsoever to leave out of town with her. He denied accepting any money from her, and he indicated he was happily married and he had no plans of getting a divorce.
According to the man, the Friday that Patty was last seen, he left Honda around midnight with his friend, picked up some fast food, dropped his friend off, and went home. The friend later corroborates his story. Just as his wife tells Detective Stiers, the man says he was nowhere near Canada during shutdown week.
He worked mostly around the house all that week until that Thursday. He went fishing with a couple buddies, but he didn't go out of town any great distance.
He also denies knowing any remote cabin in Canada, leaving investigators unable to pinpoint an area where they might search for Patty. Finally, detectives ask the man about receiving any gifts from Patty.
He denied anything, but then later indicated he may have received a birthday card from her.
The man tells detectives that he ripped up the birthday card, thinking his wife might become jealous. Given that the man tells police he really didn't know Patty, Lieutenant Patton is intrigued by this detail.
I just don't all of a sudden get a birthday card from, somebody at work unless, we're really good friends. Maybe the unit goes together and, gives a birthday card, but individual birthday card in a plant of around 4,000 employees, I would think that would be a little odd if there wasn't more to it.
Investigators spot the business's pickup truck, which Patty had said would be used for the trip to Canada.
When we went to the business and we seen the truck, it had the equipment for a tonneau cover, but it was not on the vehicle, so we knew that we had to search for it.
The man directs authorities to a storage loft, where they find the rolled-up cover. When questioned about it, The man says he ordered the cover a few days before the shutdown holiday began, then picked it up June 29th, the Friday that Patty was last seen.
June 29th, he picked it up early that morning and then installed it on his truck. Approximately a week later, the tonneau cover was taken off and then stored and never put back on the truck after July 6th.
The man tells investigators he'd ordered the tonneau cover to protect his fishing gear. But investigators are curious about the short time span of the cover's use.
It didn't make sense for him to install it and not leave it on. They're not cheap. They're a couple $100.
The manager at the business tells investigators he specifically noticed the arrival of the cover. It had seemed like a strange choice to him.
His service manager indicated that he was surprised that he had purchased this tonneau cover because of what they use that truck for. They run parts, they run radiators, and they haul stuff on it, so it really didn't make sense putting that tonneau cover on that truck.
Authorities take the cover in for forensics testing.
They would look for any trace evidence on the tonneau cover, any foreign type material that's not supposed to be there. Hair fibers, bodily fluid, saliva are some examples.
Back at the man's house, police have dug a hole in the concrete slab where the cadaver dog detected the possible presence of human remains.
We got the call and they didn't find anything. There was no sign of her. And that was disappointing. It's like back to square one. No answers. More frustration.
The search effort expands as law enforcement sends teams across several counties to find Patty.
We conducted organized searches with Honda, Marysville Police Department, the Sheriff's Office. We also had volunteers on foot searching. It was a large area.
Patty's family, desperate to find any sign of her, also assembled search parties.
We went up and down railroad tracks and tree line, creeks and trails, little country roads, cornfields, went through lots of fields. Just random places. Hot days, lots of bug bites. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack, literally.
With no sign of Patty, and the man she called her soulmate denying any affair with her, forensic evidence may be the only way investigators can confirm whether Patty got into his truck that night. Coming up, investigators find evidence that might finally connect Patty with her married coworker.
It puts, in our mind, Patty in that truck, under that tonneau cover.
Believe the man she said she was having an affair with may be responsible for her disappearance. Investigators searching his business locate the truck covering under which Patty was supposed to have hidden for a secret trip to Canada. Now, as detectives wait for forensic lab results, they review Patty's financial records for some sign of the thousands of dollars in loans her friends and family say she'd been making to him. Investigators find significant withdrawals from her accounts.
$30,000 taken out of her 401k, $25,000 on a second mortgage, cash advances out on her credit cards. She cashed in stock. From around 2000 until 2001, roughly about a year and a half, $90,000 is exactly what we can show she took out.
Yet while authorities can document the money Patty liquidated, when they examine the man's accounts, there's no evidence he received this money from her.
We can show she pulled the money out, but we can't track it from that point on.
I had one time said to her, do you have any kind of proof of it? Or are you keeping like a promissory note? She had said, no, we can't actually sign something because if she finds out, then she'll know, and then he's going to call it off, so there can't be any paper trail.
With still no solid evidence linking Patty to the married coworker, detectives wait for forensic results from the tonneau cover. In the meantime, search teams continue canvassing the area for any leads on the 29-year-old single mom's whereabouts. Patty Atkins has been missing for 5 weeks when the crime lab contacts investigators with a key lead.
Blood was found to be on the underneath side of the tonneau cover, along with cat hair.
Now, detectives need DNA analysis of the blood and cat hair to see if this trace evidence could have come from Patty and her pets. Investigators speculate the cat hair could have rubbed off of Patty's clothing. They send the hair sample to a lab in Texas, one of the few that tests animal DNA. While scientists evaluate the evidence, Patty's family wrestles with questions about what may have happened to her.
Nighttime comes and you try to go to sleep and thoughts start racing in. It's just a crushing pain. Like somebody's squeezing your heart and they won't let go. You know, just thinking, oh, if you could just get so lucky and actually find something.
Finally, investigators get a break in the case.
The lab down in Texas was able to confirm that some of the hairs taken from the tonneau cover matched Patty's cats.
There's a short window of opportunity that tarp's even on the truck. And then it's rolled up and stored above his office area. So how do you explain Patty's cat hair on the bottom of that tonneau cover? It puts, in our mind, Patty in that truck, under that tonneau cover.
For Patty's family, the news brings bittersweet consolation.
My first reaction was that we had some hard evidence, you know, besides just the hearsay that she had plans with him, that she had a relationship with him. Patty was in the back of that truck, and he definitely knows something that, you know, he's not telling the police.
Investigators and the Union County Prosecutor's Office consider Patty's married coworker to be their main person of interest in what they believe is a homicide case. Meanwhile, investigators have been working to determine whether the blood found on the tonneau cover could be Patty's. The crime lab tells detectives that the blood sample is tiny, just a speck.
How it was described to me is if you would kill a mosquito, the amount of blood that you're going to get out of a mosquito is the amount of blood that was found on the tonneau cover.
Unfortunately, forensics says this presents a problem.
If that sample was tested, it would consume the entire sample.
The crime lab advises Union County Prosecuting Attorney David Phillips that DNA testing on the blood sample might not give conclusive results.
The technicians contacted law enforcement, contacted our office and said, wait, hopefully the forensic technology will enable us to test it with a much higher degree of confidence. And so we waited.
Since forensics technology is constantly evolving, the prosecutor agrees to hold off on testing and wait for more advanced methods.
We could present the case to grand jury, ask them to consider is there sufficient evidence, but you can only try someone once. And so if we found the evidence at a later date, if the evidence showed, yes, that was for blood, we'd never get another opportunity.
Several months after Patty goes missing, Marcia has a candid conversation with Patty's daughter, McKaylee.
She asked me, do you think Mommy died? I said, you know, I think Mommy's in heaven. I think that's the only thing that would keep your Mommy from you.
She missed the bus just by seconds. All of a sudden, she disappears.
She harbored this hope to continue her doctoral studies in the US, but then going back to China to be a leader in her discipline of environmental engineering.
Maybe this is a situation where she was kidnapped, or she's just confused, something happened to her medically.
There was almost an exact 1 minute conversation between the driver of this vehicle and Ying Ying
would like you to be more forthcoming with me because I need to find where she lives. It's just a whole bit. All those people want her home safe. You know what you know what happened. So me.
Following her dreams. She's a visiting scholar from China at the University of Illinois, conducting research on crop production.
Ying got here in April of 2017. I've got a picture of Mom, Dad, and Ying at the train station when she got on the train at home to leave to come to Illinois. She was really, really interested in crop production and improving methods of crop production back in China. She's in her early 20s. She's at school. She's learning. She's happy.
Before coming to America, Ying grew up over 7,000 miles away in southeastern China. She's the oldest child in a close-knit family of 4.
Going to college, moving from 3 hours away from home was a lot. I can't imagine what it's like to move from a different country, trying to navigate life that way. I know that she did miss her family. She would call them often, and I know that they missed her a lot too.
She loved to sing, and she was part of a band called Cute Horse. She is someone who is genuinely very, very kind. She has a certain innocence to her. She was very close to her parents, especially to her mother.
Rangao is the father. He is a truck driver back in China. Li Fang is the mom, and she was in poor health and very fragile. Life was a struggle for them. Ying was a dutiful daughter who performed many of the functions within the household.
Coming from families with limited means, academic excellence was seen as the only way out. She did her master's degree at Peking University's graduate school, where she studied environmental engineering. Afterwards, she received a researcher position at the Chinese Academy of Sciences. Her monthly salary was 4,000 yuan, which would probably be about $700, and she would use that to supplement her family's income.
Now in 2017, Ying accepts a 1-year research position as a visiting scholar at the University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign.
Champaign-Urbana is a modest-sized community, small town in a lot of ways. The students travel all around town, ride bicycles. It's very pastoral. And there are a significant number of students, undergrad and graduate, from China.
Being able to go to another country, especially the United States, to pursue further studies, especially trained as a scientist, is an affirmation of personal excellence.
On June 9th, 2017, 2 months after she arrives in the United States, Ying schedules a 2 p.m. appointment to tour a new apartment.
Ying was excited to be moving, and she was meeting one of the leasing agents to tour it and potentially sign.
She has the opportunity to move to a new apartment in North Urbana, which is north of campus. And so she has to take the bus to get down to Central Campus, and she has to get off that bus and catch another bus that's going to take her north on Lincoln out of campus, where it's student housing. There's a significant number of students.
5 hours later, at 7 p.m. that night, Ying is supposed to meet a group of her lab mates for their regularly scheduled meeting. She never arrives. They call and text, but no one can reach her.
Ying was always on time, so her lab mates thought that it was really weird that she didn't show up, because Ying would never not show up to anything without notice.
I was the head of the department Ying was associated with. I was at the movies with both my sons, and I got out and I got a text from
the leader of the lab group, saying, I have a student that's missing, and then I gave that person a call, and I just said, have you called the police?
At 9:24 p.m., Ying Ying's lab mates report her missing to the university police department.
This was unusual. I've never had anything like that happen with a student gone missing. We were concerned about her. We wanted to know what was going on.
University police officers check her apartment. She's not there. But they find cash, important documents and belongings, which tells them she didn't go far. While searching her apartment, officers locate her diary. They skim through its pages for clues to her whereabouts.
One of the last things that she had written in it was, "Life is too short to be ordinary." I think about that almost like weekly, if not daily. It just really shows how she wanted to continue living her life. I think it's just a really heavy thing to hear, especially it being the last entry there.
That evening, University of Illinois police make a difficult phone call to Ying Ying's family in China.
The thought of Ying Ying leaving China and coming to the United States had to be scary to the family. Then to have this happen, they were devastated.
I think the best word I could use to describe what they were feeling was horrified.
On June 10th, the day after Ying Ying was last seen, university police begin working the case as a missing persons investigation.
The university police department went to all the hangout places where students congregated. They searched tirelessly over that weekend for Ying Ying.
I worked at the school newspaper, the Daily Illini. I think this was such a big case, and I was just interested in it in that way as a student journalist, both of us being new to the university. It just struck me on a personal level.
The city of Champaign, it's a smaller city. There was such a tremendous outpouring of support of Ying Ying's family to find Ying Ying.
Missing posters for Ying Ying were posted on every corner. People who were on campus were basically surrounded by these posters, and her picture was everywhere.
I was on the faculty at the University of Illinois College of Law. I had a graduate course where I would teach international students the American trial system. It was devastating to us. The thought that something like this could happen on our campus with one of our students, this is crazy. This is crazy.
The search for Ying Ying intensifies.
We received a lot of surveillance footage, and we were able to trace Ying Ying's entire route.
The investigation takes a dark turn.
Another university student said she was approached by a strange individual who presented himself as an undercover police officer and wanted her to get into the car.
And a community fears the worst.
Once it's clear that she got in that car, now it's good.
Monday, June 12th, 2 days after Ying Ying Zhang was last seen at the University of Illinois, word spreads of her disappearance, shaking the quiet college community.
Police were all around looking for her, and students who were still on campus were extremely scared.
That fear increases as more details of the investigation become known. University police reveal that a check of Ying Ying's cell phone records show the last text she sent was on the afternoon of June 9th to the leasing agent for her new apartment.
At 1:39 p.m., Ying Ying sends a text saying she would be about 30 minutes late, and she ends up never showing up. At 2:38 p.m., he checks in again, seeing where she's at, but there's no answer. There's no more text between them, and the last communication anybody had with Ying Ying was with that leasing agent.
all of a sudden the communication stops. She's just gone.
3 days into the search, university police reach out to the FBI for help.
They had been working almost nonstop for the last several days and were in some ways exhausted and in other ways just kind of needing some more resources. So when they called, our entire office showed up to help them with what they had on their hands.
The first move for FBI agents is to retrace Ying Ying's steps. They know on the day she went missing, she had an appointment to tour an apartment north of campus. Based on her cell data, they also know she took the bus.
She's going to come to main campus on a bus because she doesn't have a car. She's going to use public transportation.
We received a lot of surveillance footage from the metro system. The buses had a lot of cameras. And from those cameras, we were actually able to trace Ying Ying's entire route.
Federal agents scan through the mountain of digital footage from June 9th, the day Ying Ying went missing. They get their first glimpse of her when they identify Ying Ying boarding a bus at 1:35 p.m.
You see Ying Ying get on the bus from her apartment. She smiles at the bus driver as she shows her bus ticket.
The surveillance video shows Ying Ying exiting the bus 17 minutes later at 1:52 p.m. Then she walks down the street toward another stop to transfer to another bus.
The security camera that caught Ying Ying, you can see Ying Ying trying to catch the next bus. I think she missed it by a few seconds. And then you can kind of see her in the footage, sort of like giving up and letting the bus go and probably trying to figure out what to do next.
Investigators scour these images of Ying Ying for any clues, and they see something that piques their interest. As Ying Ying waits for another bus, a black 4-door vehicle drives up to her and stops.
There was almost an exact 1-minute conversation between the driver of this vehicle and Ying Ying, after which she gets into the passenger seat and that vehicle proceeds to travel off camera.
Once it's clear that she got in that car, now it's a potential kidnapping.
With the case now potentially a kidnapping, concern about Ying Ying's safety grows. Using the extensive surveillance camera system in the university area, FBI analysts determined the vehicle is a black 4-door Saturn Astra sedan.
It had only been manufactured for a very short period of time. It was identifiable.
But they can't read the license plate.
Everyone within the FBI and the University Police Department was trying desperately to identify the license plate on that vehicle or some other mark that can make it highly identifiable so that way we could find it. The vehicle proceeds off of the university grounds, off of their campuses, and goes into a more residential area, and we lose a lot of the surveillance at that point.
Then a report comes in about a concerning incident on campus. On the same day, Ying Ying disappeared.
The University Police Department actually received a call from another university student, Emily Hogan, who said she was approached by a strange individual in a black vehicle on the 9th. We called her that night and she came in and spoke with us and told us all about her experience. She said this individual presented himself as an undercover police officer and wanted her to get into the car. She declined and immediately called the police.
The FBI believes it could be the same car Ying Ying is seen getting into.
I think Ying Ying was understandably really stressed with everything that was going on and was put in that situation on a seemingly safe campus, so it makes sense that she would have trusted him and gotten into the car.
We didn't know whether
other people were at risk or not, whether that person could be out there, that it might happen again.
4 days after Ying Zhang vanishes from the University of Illinois campus, the FBI is searching for the black car she's seen entering on surveillance video. Agents believe the same Saturn Astra approached another young woman earlier on the day Ying disappeared, and the driver tried to coerce her into the vehicle.
They turned to automobile registration records for Champaign County and the surrounding counties.
Agents discover there are only 9 four-door Saturn Astras registered in Champaign County.
On the 12th, our canvas teams went in and attempted to make contact with every owner of a Saturn Astra.
Investigators track down and clear all 9 potential suspects, one by one.
There's nothing specific at that moment that would have raised any additional suspicion.
Hoping to find something that can help focus their search, something they might have missed earlier, investigators return to the surveillance footage. Finally, something catches their eye.
Somebody noticed that the hubcap was cracked. It had a piece missing. And in zooming in, you could also see the vehicle had a sunroof.
One of the FBI agents who spoke to the Astra owners in Champaign County recalls seeing only one Astra that had a sunroof. He cross-references his list. It belongs to 27-year-old Brent Christensen.
Brent Christensen was a grad student in the physics department, the TA. He was teaching other students and earning his own degree at the same time. Generally pretty quiet and kept to himself.
Agents review the statement Brent Christensen made when they first asked him about the day Ying went missing.
He said he was home that day, was sleeping, his wife was out of town, he was playing video games, and there was nothing suspicious at that time that would put any more attention on him.
Officers go back out to the apartment where Christensen lives, and the car is parked in the parking lot.
They looked at that hubcap, and it had the exact same break, the exact damage that was in that surveillance footage.
Investigators believe they found the car seen with Ying in the surveillance video. It's a major discovery, but they want to confirm it was Brent Christensen behind the wheel before they confront him. They reach out to Emily Hogan, the woman who reported that a man in a black car approached her the same day Ying was abducted.
We presented her with a lineup of individuals. She went through those pictures and immediately identified Christensen as the person who was driving that vehicle on that morning. Emily Hogan's experience, her identification of Christensen, showed that he was in some ways hunting to try to find a victim. Based on the information we had, we were very confident that Christensen had in fact kidnapped Ying.
Armed with Emily's positive ID of Brent Christensen, Agent Manganaro races to his house and brings him in for questioning.
Why do you think that we brought you up here? Because the car I own was seen picking up a girl that's missing. Yeah. Yeah.
You originally told the agents that came to your apartment that you just played video games all day long. You didn't leave the apartment.
Yep.
But it's fair to say that we know that that's not true, correct?
Why would I lie?
I work in the Detectives Bureau of the UI, and you know what we have access to? Cameras. Do you think that we're not going to track a vehicle all over campus? I know that you picked her up. I know you did.
Maybe I guess so.
Okay.
Right or wrong, I'm just gonna get. I just pick a girl up.
Okay.
I saw her picture. I don't think it was her though.
Do you remember the girl's name that you picked up?
No, she was talking very broken English.
What was her ethnicity? You said she had trouble speaking English. Well,
She was Asian. She was Asian. Okay. I was just driving around. I saw a girl, and she was very distressed.
Okay.
So I stopped the car and looked at her. Asked her if she needed help, talked to her for a little bit. Which I think really short. I apparently took the wrong terms compared to what she said, and that was enough to spook her. I'm not going to keep someone that barely won my car who just put me in there. So we're up. That was the last I saw her.
Well,
My impression of Christensen was that he was capable of manipulation. We knew that something terrible had happened, and there was a lot of pressure. We were operating under the hope that she was still alive, maybe being held against her will by Christensen at an unknown location.
My theory is that she didn't get out of the car. It was being open with you. My theory is she was in there a little bit longer. I'd like you to be more forthcoming with me because, again, I need to find where she is. I'd like you to be more forthcoming with me because, again, I need to find where she is.
6 days after the disappearance of Ying Zhang, Brent Christensen admits to giving her a ride on June 9th, but insists he dropped her off and hasn't seen her since.
I don't know, so sorry.
Investigators put their suspect on a 24-hour investigative hold.
I immediately set out to write a search warrant and met the magistrate judge that night while other agents were keeping an eye on the vehicle, and got that search warrant signed to go seize it.
FBI agents inspect Brent's Saturn Astra, but they find no physical evidence linking Ying to the vehicle. The FBI is confident they have the right man, but they can't hold him without evidence.
They decide to release him and keep track of him, put him under surveillance.
We had 24-hour surveillance on him, GPS trackers on the car. We had aerial assets circling above, hoping that he might lead us to where she was at or give us some clue of a location to search.
It was a really scary time. The investigation was ongoing and nobody really knew what had happened to Ying. This was genuinely a really scary experience for the whole college community.
FBI surveillance teams continue tracking Brent Christensen for several days. but without any luck.
At that same time, some of the other agents met with his wife and had a voluntary interview with her at her residence.
Investigators learn their marriage is anything but ordinary.
Christensen and his wife had an open relationship. They each had another girlfriend or boyfriend on the side.
Brent met his girlfriend, Tara Bullis, on a dating site in 2017.
Christensen and Tara were involved in like a domineering, submissive type relationship. From Tara's perspective, it was mutual and she still maintained a great deal of control. When we went and talked to Tara, she was very open about their relationship, was very concerned about the missing student, Ying Ying, and agreed to help us find out what was going on and if Christensen had any involvement. So Tara agreed to wear a wire for us and record the conversations that she had with him. In all of these scenarios, it can be a risk. We don't know if the person we're asking to help us is going to turn around and then tell Christensen everything that we just talked to them about. We don't know. But in this instance, we really needed to find Ying Ying, and so that risk was very worth it.
You have agents watching him, you have agents watching her. And, you know, the risky thing, I think, for the FBI is that if he discovers that wire, he could harm her.
While this was going on, we also had massive efforts underway searching fields, searching dumpsters, searching parks, looking for anything that might give some sort of indication as to where Ying Ying was.
The family has this hope. They want her to be alive. And so if you have that hope, then she's going to be alive. In your own thinking, she's going to be alive. And so the Chinese community, the family, and the local community are going to have a march in support of the search for Ying Ying.
Let's find Ying Ying. Let's find Ying Ying. Let's find Ying Ying. Let's find...
The March for Ying Ying brought a lot of people in the community together and out to kind of commemorate her. And it was really emotional.
Let's find Ying Ying. Let's find Ying Ying.
The March for Ying Ying takes place on the University of Illinois campus on June 29th, 20 days after she was last seen.
Let's find Ying Ying. Let's find Ying Ying.
Brent Christensen decides he's going to participate in that march.
Christensen ordered Tara to attend that event with him. She agreed, and as she had done in her past interactions with him, wore a wire to that event.
It's 6:46 on Thursday, June 29th. We're at the benefit for the walk, so I'm thinking I'm just going to turn this on right now so that it's on while we walk.
At the event, Christensen started making disclosures to her that if the people at the event knew who he was and what he had done, they would flee in terror.
It's so strange. It's so weird. All those people there tonight. I want them safe, and I have no idea what happened. You know what happened.
Nobody will know what happened.
Hmm?
And nobody will know what happened.
Not even you. Like, you're the only one.
Find Ying Ying. Let's find Ying Ying.
June 29th, 2017. 20 days into the search for missing college student Ying Ying Zhang, students at the University of Illinois hold a march to support her. The marchers include Brent Christensen, the prime suspect in her disappearance. He doesn't know his girlfriend is wearing a wire for the FBI.
So I'm seeing many people were here. So for me.
How is it? You feel you let nobody know? Huh?
They're walking through Champaign, and he proceeds to tell her how he kidnapped Ying Ying, how he caused her a great deal of physical harm, how he assaulted her, bound her.
He was telling she looks.
She would.
What?
She fight.
She just dealing with it. Resilience. I tried to show her. She didn't. She stuck on her back. She died. She was. Couldn't believe it. Like, he's back. Unbelievable. Like, supernatural almost how he used to.
I know Tara was very fearful throughout this entire exchange, and you can actually hear in that captured recording her heartbeat.
I choked her with 10 minutes. I released her breath. I believe it. Wow. So I carried her into my bathroom, dropped the bat, and I hit her on the head as hard as I could. And it broke her head open.
It was, in a lot of ways, a powerful moment for all of us. We knew that Christensen had kidnapped Ying Ying. We knew that something terrible had happened, and now we have him describing it.
Well, first, she cut her not, so I cut a knife. I couldn't whack and she grabbed the force.
Christensen was capable of immense violence, and he had a lot of pride in what he had done.
We ran away with it.
We had all been working so tirelessly over the last several weeks, the entire team, to get to this moment. We had enough to make an arrest.
On June 30th, 2017, the FBI arrests and charges Brent Christensen for Ying Ying Zhang's death.
It was a relief to make an arrest, to put Christensen in jail, but we still didn't have Ying Ying, and that was our goal. We wanted to find where she was.
When the charges are brought against Christensen, there's announced he's arrested. That's a shock. The family is hoping that he has hidden her away somewhere. It was tough. It took them a while to accept the fact that she was really dead.
Christensen's arrest brought a lot of relief to myself and the rest of the college campus. It was also really confusing of just how could somebody that I thought was teaching me something do something so horrible.
Law enforcement has every reason to believe Ying Ying is dead. They need to find her body, but Brent Christensen is keeping his secret.
He declined a second interview, so our work wasn't done. And we continued to search the area and tried to find some sort of evidence as to where she was.
Police execute a search warrant at Brent's apartment. Although there's no sign of Ying Ying, they do find evidence of an assault.
We find bloodstains on the mattress. We found evidence that blood had gotten up against the wall behind the mattress and had seeped down into the carpet. And then we find that the bathroom had been tremendously clean. We discovered Christensen had put in a work order to his apartment complex a couple days after he killed Ying Ying for the grout and the tub in the bathroom to be redone.
Investigators also locate what they believe is the bat Brent used to beat Ying Ying. They send the bat and blood samples to the forensics lab for testing.
the crime scene evidence absolutely confirmed. The admissions that he made during the parade was true.
Investigators also dig into Brent Christensen's social media, where they find more disturbing information about their suspect.
He had some posts on different websites that discuss fetishes. There was one in particular that we found very concerning. It described kidnapping someone, putting them in a duffel bag, proceeding to have a sexual encounter. What was particularly disturbing was when you compared it to the Amazon purchase records of Christensen. We found a purchase of a very large green duffel bag that could easily fit a person inside it. And the realization that she was likely put into a bag just like this and carried against her will into the apartment, it hits you. It makes it real.
Days after Yingying Zhang goes missing, investigators have built a solid case against Brent Christensen. But they still don't have a body.
The family, there's certainly anger. There's always anger. To think that this man, in any form of brutal way, kidnapped and killed your daughter, it's beyond your ability as a human being to fathom. So the family's position was that he should receive the death penalty.
Although they know that not having a body will make it more difficult to win a conviction, prosecutors move forward with plans for the trial. On June 24, 2019, after a 2-day trial, a federal jury finds Brent Christensen guilty of kidnapping resulting in a death. Next, the jury deliberates on his sentencing.
Of the 12 jurors, 10 voted for the death penalty, 2 didn't. And so because a unanimous verdict was not reached, her killer was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
I couldn't even say how I felt. I was happy that there was a verdict and that he would go away for the rest of his life. I thought it was going to feel like the ending of a story, but it didn't really feel like there was that closure that you would get. When the verdict was initially read, emotions were really high. I don't think Yingying's family felt as though justice was served, as they were really adamant about wanting the death penalty, but instead Christensen got life in prison.
At the conclusion of the trial, the court gave authorization for me to take Yingying's journal from evidence and replace it with a copy. And I was able to give that journal to Yingying's mom.
It's all Yingying's family has of her, because Brent Christensen refuses to say what he did with her body after killing her.
He personally has never told the FBI, but he's told his attorneys what he did. And they tell us, because the trial's over, so immunity's gone, nothing else can happen. They tell us that he had dismembered the body, put her remains in the dumpster outside of the apartment building, was taken to a landfill. The area in the landfill was probably half a football field. So the likelihood of recovering her body is virtually nil.
I'm not sure if there will ever be closure for the family in that Yingying was never found.
Parents' worst nightmare is losing a child. Just think about her and how excited she was when she came here. I got kids, I got kids in graduate school, and I think about that. And, it's just, life's not fair. Bad things happen to good people, and this is a case of that.
Ying Ying's loved ones returned to China without their daughter. To honor her memory, they establish a memorial fund at the university, where the student body is forever touched by Ying Ying's final words.
Her diary entries were her conversations with herself. The last line is, life is too short to be ordinary. This kind of thinking that